If you were on the internet as a kid in the mid-2000s, you were probably on sites like miniclip.com, Addicting Games, eBaum's World, Newgrounds, and Funny Junk. We probably share a lot of the same memories of these sites, but as we got older, we grew out of them. Personally, I only ever went back to those sites over the years to see how they had changed. Other than Newgrounds, these sites just don't have the same appeal that they once had. However, there are still communities on these sites who have stayed with them over the years, and a bunch of new people who are just finding them now. So there must still be something about them that attracts people. Funny Junk is no exception to that rule, and I never would have known about its current community if it wasn't for a YouTuber named Chadkins. I found his videos on the subreddit YouTube Haikus and left nice comments. He responded by singing my praises as well, and we kept going back and forth, basically just jerking each other off about how much we love each other's videos, until we finally got talking on Twitter and eventually Discord. During a Discord conversation, he casually mentioned that he had a presence on Funny Junk. And I thought that sounded really weird. I needed to know more and I wanted to look into it because I'd never heard of a Funny Junk celebrity before. It turns out he's within the top 50 most popular content creators on the site with millions of views on his content. I was amazed and I felt like I just wanted to know more about what the site was to people in this current day. So I pitched the idea of the history of Funny Junk and he was happy to help me out. So everybody please show your gratitude. Go to his channel. He's really funny. Just watch his videos. He's a really funny, really well-spoken, genuinely talented guy. I have a good feeling that his YouTube presence will soon exceed his Funny Junk presence. Just a disclaimer, I'm coming at this video as an outsider to Funny Junk. I don't use the site, but the information I gathered was provided by Chadkins, who knows the site in and out. At the end of the video, I had Chuck explain what the site means to him. It's incredibly insightful, and I think the message is really important. So sit back and relax, and I'll take you through the history of Funny Junk. Funny Junk was created on July 29th, 2001 by an unknown party known only as Admin. It was created as a content aggregator site with user-uploaded content such as pictures, videos, and GIFs. Let's take a look at some old screenshots of Funny Junk throughout the years. This is the first known screenshot of Funny Junk, known as Yellow Funny Junk. The version of Funny Junk that I remember occurred shortly after Yellow Funny Junk and is referred to as Green Funny Junk because of its archaic green background. And this is Gray Funny Junk, the version most people will remember. This is where the site found its first audience and became one of the go-to sites for a new generation of internet-savvy kids who were looking for funny pictures. However, over the years the site seemed to rapidly diminish in popularity as more streamlined sites of a similar nature were created and the original user base got older. While it was still in its heyday, I remember going on the site at my school's library with my friends and enjoying the content. This is a very common nostalgic experience for many current 20-somethings on the internet. But because of its fading popularity over the years, there are some events you might have missed. For example, Funny Junk users had an ongoing feud with 4chan users in 2010 that led to a massive raid against Funny Junk. 4chan users spammed the site with images which unintentionally helped Funny Junk bounce back slightly after losing a lot of traffic. 4chan and Funny Junk users were constantly battling over the title of most XD random funny kids on the internet and arguing over who's more desensitized to graphic content while trying to use as many no-no words as possible, when in reality they had more in common with each other than they thought, seeing as how they spent hours on the internet trying to laugh and have fun while avoiding eye contact with their parents. This is the year Funny Junk appears to have become a bit desperate to maintain an audience. On May 1st, Funny Junk users agreed to give every post thumbs up because of a threat by admin to shut the site down due to low traffic. In June, admin later told the site's users to post the top Funny Junk posts to other forms of social media in order to bring a new audience in. This is often considered the point where the user base no longer trusted admin because they felt that they were being lied to by him. He always claimed that the site was losing traffic and advertising. Soon after his threats, he left the site and was replaced by the designer, who was praised by the community for being a good guy. Unfortunately, in August there was a massive data crash which caused hundreds of accounts to be deleted. 2011 ushered in huge updates to the site, including posting pictures in the comments, the ability to roll pictures, users, and numbers, an integrated comic maker, the first message board, an upgrade to the leveling system, and content channels. Funny Junk had finally caught up with the times and saw a slight resurgence in traffic. Many people on the internet have a disdain for content aggregator sites like Funny Junk and eBaum's World because it's easy for the sites to profit off of stolen content. And on May 25th of 2011, a Reddit user by the name of Doug3465 posted a thread on our funny titled, "Fuck Funny Junk, spread the word." The post linked to an article written by cartoonist Matthew Inman, creator of the humor website The Oatmeal. The article outlines and describes how Funny Junk profits off of his stolen work. He links readers to thousands of stolen images from other artists around the world and also shows other sites that are guilty of this level of theft. The current Funny Junk admin at the time sent out a very jaded and inappropriate response to Inman's request, which immediately backfired into a PR disaster for Funny Junk. Funny Junk was seen as the villains in this dispute and lost a ton of favorability on the internet. On top of this response, Funny Junk's lawyer, Charles Carrion, demanded $20,000 in damages due to defamation brought on by Inman's article. Inman responded by launching an Indiegogo campaign to raise $20,000 for a charity called Operation Bear Love Good, Cancer Bad. The money would be donated to the National Wildlife Federation and the American Cancer Society. The campaign raised over $200,000. He stated that he intended to take a photo of himself with the cash, then send the photograph along with a satirical illustration of the admin's mother seducing a Kodiak bear to Funny Junk. Funny Junk's lawyer, Charles Carrion, attempted to shut the campaign down, alleging it violates Indiegogo's terms and conditions. Carrion also filed a lawsuit in the United States District Court of Northern District of California against Inman, Indiegogo, the American Cancer Society, and the National Wildlife Federation in response. On July 3rd of 2012, Carrion filed a notice of voluntary dismissal in his lawsuit against all parties without prejudice. The dude tried to sue everybody. All in all, this dispute left a bad taste in people's mouths about Funny Junk. Honestly, when I was planning this video and writing out the script, I thought it would be longer, but there really wasn't much to talk about other than the Oatmeal dispute, and that's been covered thoroughly for years. So here's what I have to say about what I've come to learn from Funny Junk as it is today. Currently, the site feels like a hug box for Trump supporters. This is just what it seems like on the surface, based on what posts are reaching the top of the site, and the comments on political related posts. Now, it's easy to understand why this would happen to Funny Junk considering how Trump supporters are chastised from larger sites like Reddit. I understand that people want to be able to think and act the way they want to, and they want a place where they can communicate their beliefs and thoughts in a space with like-minded people who don't criticize them. I disagree with how they do it. What I don't like is repetition. Places like Funny Junk that have smaller, more weighted worldview on one side or the other restrict the creative potential of the community. There's a fine line between an ironic Trump meme in the comments and a real political ideologue. I wish there was a place for free-flowing internet humor that doesn't have any political spin or influence, but sadly that is not Funny Junk. I understand the ironic nature of spamming the same jokes over and over in an intentionally over-the-top way. That has been a theme in internet humor since I can remember, but this form of irony is base level and played out, and no, that's not what makes it funny. You aren't trolling anyone. The people that they're trying to trigger aren't even on the site because they've already demonstrated that they're not welcome. This is the definition of an echo chamber. All in all, your edgy, ironic, red pill uncucking Trump memes are all in vain, and you are contributing to the demise of a website that gave you shelter by discouraging politically left and politically neutral people from engaging. Why can't you just separate yourself from your political ideology for the sake of enjoying a humor website? But that's just my view of the site as an outsider. So I asked Chadkins why he uses Funny Junk and had him record his response. Here is his insight as a dedicated Funny Junk user, and I think his message is very important.
I joined Funny Junk at the height of its popularity around 2011 to 2012, and this was when the website was at the very end of being a place for rage comics and dead memes like people know the site to be, and it started really creating its own culture. And I was a huge fan of a guy called Uber Andrew who made original comics, and back then there was like this huge myriad of original content creators on Funny Junk that were interacting with each other in the community, and what kept me coming back was that sense of community that the website had. And sure, a lot of it was pretty lame at times, and the Funny Junk hive mind is a very definite problem that the website had and has, but at the end of the day, it was like any image board out there. It was just a website to screw around and have fun on, and what made it so fun was that sense of community that it had, and I think that's what's died off so much. You know, after we got taken off of search engines, the amount of incoming users was severely cut, so there was no one replacing the artists and users that would come and leave, and then when Gamergate happened, the site was flooded with not just people looking for a bastion for right-wing opinions and ideals, but those very opinions and ideals taking over the content space. So slowly over time, the website became less and less of a place to have fun and more of a place to be faux political activists playing journalists. And the site hasn't completely lost what made it so popular back then, but it's clearly declining, and anyone who uses the site that isn't in complete denial can see that. The reason I'm still there is that it's kind of like a family member that used to be so vibrant and happy and full of potential that's fallen on hard times and lost its direction. As embarrassing as it is to admit, I have Funny Junk to thank for so many of the good good things in my life, and I just can't give up on it no matter how much I'd like to. It's funny, when I first joined, I wanted to be just like my favorite user, Uber Andrew, who at the height of his popularity was kind of seen as FJ's golden boy, and I think maybe there's a part of me that's still trying to be that, or at least be recognized as like a top user. The guy that the community can like look to, maybe not for guidance, but always for like a good time, you know? And that's one of the great things about Funny Junk that keeps me there, is the fact that you're free to just not say whatever, but also to do whatever you want. You can self-promote yourself to your heart's content. If you self-promote yourself on like 4chan or Reddit, you get banned. You can self-promote on like Imgur, but only if you like make comics or whatever you're doing is image-based, and I guess you can self-promote on like 9gag or iFunny, but they're going to slap their watermark on your content and all your traffic is going to be diverted to their websites instead of you. And that's what always made Funny Junk seem so much more organized as a community, is that they make it very clear over what they want to see. It's a true democracy where you only end up in the lead because everyone wanted you there, and it comes with all the bonuses and downsides of democracy, in that not everyone is always going to agree with you on what should be popular, and the community is prone to hive minding over certain things and only posting or thumbing up content or comments that conform to the general wants and dislikes of users on the site. In any community, there has to be people on the top to lead and make the big decisions about where everyone should be moving, and that's what FJ has kind of lost more than anything. It's completely directionless, stuck in a limbo of half the website that wants to make it 4chan's poll board 2.0, and the other half that would rather we go back to being nothing but rage comics than see another picture like Donald Trump or feminism or anime girls. Just like America is right now, it's halfway divided between these two extreme opposites, and a democracy can't really stand like that. I think if Funny Junk users really want to see things change, then it's going to take a big collective effort of people not just wanting for someone else to make the site great again, but everyone putting in a concerted effort to being what everyone knew and loved the site for. Being a goofy place for people to share fun stuff with each other and participate in a sense of online community. As it stands, Funny Junk is more like the right-wing Tumblr. There are plenty of good things to like talk about, and there's still plenty of funny stuff that goes on, but there's a very strong sense that certain opinions and perspectives aren't really welcome, and for the most part the website's being used to explore and grow an agenda rather than to just have fun, and it can't survive like that, and it won't survive like that. It may take a very long time, but eventually no one's going to want to go there anymore. And I guess at the end of the day it's up to the community to decide what they want the future of the site to be, but everyone has to agree on something. Personally, I'd prefer if the site just learned to laugh more and be political in really small doses, and I think doing so would make the site more attractive to incoming users. Funny Junk has had the reputation of being a place for cancerous losers that love dead memes for a long time, and it was just growing out of that back in 2012 when out of nowhere it became new poll because of Gamergate. I want to see that Funny Junk come back because I love that Funny Junk, and I think it's how the site works best and is the most fun for everyone. And if I had to advertise the site to newcomers, I'd tell them that Funny Junk is a place where you can post whatever the hell you want and you can experience what it's like to grow and be a part of a small community centralized around what you post or what you like, because Funny Junkers are nothing if not honest about what they like and will band together to support all of your future endeavors. It doesn't even have to be original content. You can take any role you want and become a Funny Junk celebrity just for being known for that one thing. We had one guy who's one of the most beloved users on the site who literally did nothing but post the same gif of a gecko licking a Cheerio in the comments over and over on every content that he saw, and yet another guy who ate those Haribo sugarless gummy bears and streamed himself pooping afterwards, and he's practically a Funny Junk legend. That's the Funny Junk that I know and love. It's just a silly place to do silly things, and the toxicity of some of the worst parts of the sites have no effect on that. We've just lost a lot of it over the years, and we need people to bring it back, which is something I'm trying to do. But what we can tell from every time that Funny Junk has gotten a huge spike in traffic after the admins threatened that the site's in danger of going down is that what really helps the site out is a community that's invested and that cares. So like I said, it's going to be up to the Funny Junk community to decide if their site survives. I think if there were more incoming traffic to the site, then people would have something to care about and be excited about again, because most of the users on the site have been there for a really long time and kind of need something to break the monotony of the regular daily FJ affair, with the same users pretty much doing the same things they've been doing forever. All I know is I wouldn't have my current YouTube channel and be doing any of the things in my life that I'm working towards if Funny Junk hadn't given me the support to be confident in the direction I wanted to go in my life. Entertaining people, which I've wanted to do ever since I've had memories. Funny Junk is like any content community and image board on the internet. It's deplorable and cancerous at its worst, but it's life-changing and inspiring at its best. But more than anything, it's a goofy meme website that you shouldn't take too seriously and works best when it isn't taken too seriously. And that's why I stay there, because I don't care what drama the site gets into. I try to just stay away from it and have fun with it in the ways that I always have and I always will.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I wish there were more interesting things to talk about, but I'm glad that this became more of an opinion piece. Obviously, it took a really long time to make, and I misplaced my beard somewhere along the way, so I want to again thank Chadkins for outlining this video and offering his thoughts at the end. I also want to give a huge shout out to Petronious on YouTube for editing this video. He's an outstanding video maker and a really good guy. Links to both of those guys will be on the screen and in the description. Thank you so much for watching.